There are crimes, and then there are the kinds of crimes that make your stomach turn. Crimes that don't just shock you, they haunt you. This story, it's one of those. I've heard many twisted things in my life, but this one, this really made me pause. Let me tell you a story about a very sick and twisted man. A man who turned human intestines into a pot of plantain porridge. This story happened in Kana, a quiet local government area in Rivers State, Nigeria. If you know Rivers very well, you probably think of oil money, politics, protest, but this isn't that kind of story. Today, we're not talking about money or government. We're diving into something much darker: murder, cultism, and one of the most disturbing things I have ever heard someone do with a human body. Let me introduce you to the man at the center of this horror. His name is Bestman Lekia, but the streets knew him as Biggie. Now, Bestman was no small-time criminal. He was a full-blown cultist deep in the trenches of violent crimes that have held communities hostage for decades. In fact, by the time he was arrested, he had already killed 4 people: Bodu Nobale, Etim Ekpe, Nele Lebari Meabe, and Loveday Mabe. 4 people gone. And not just gone, slaughtered. The first victim, Bodu, was kidnapped by Bestman and his gang. They took him to a separate location, but what happened there is the part that still makes my skin crawl. They killed Bodu and then cut out his intestines, not to dump in the bush, not to hide evidence, but to use them to cook plantain porridge. Yes, you heard me right. I know there are ritual killings in Nigeria. I've seen the headlines, but this wasn't just murder. This was cannibalism, psychopathy. This was evil on a plate. Mothers had to bury their sons in pieces because of this guy, if they could even recover the bodies at all. But what did Bestman do when he was caught by the authorities? This man stood in court like he didn't care. According to Justice Adolphus Enebeli, the judge who presided over the case, Bestman's attitude throughout the trial proved just how hardened he was: a criminal and a terror. In the judge's own words, and I quote, "He deserves to be hung 4 times and die 4 times." In January 2023, the court found him guilty of murder, kidnapping, cultism, and armed robbery, and was sentenced to death by hanging. I ask myself every time I hear a story like this, what causes a man to become this? Is it poverty? Peer pressure? Is it the hunger for power that cults promise these young boys? Or is it just darkness, the kind that was always there, waiting for a reason to break out? Let me know in the comment section what you think pushes people to do stuff like this. Now, you might be wondering, what did Bestman look like? This man who did the unthinkable, this so-called Biggie. What kind of face matches that kind of evil? Was he scary, cold, or just ordinary? Strangely, there are no publicly released photos of Bestman Lekia. None. Not a mugshot, not a courtroom sketch, nothing. It's as if the face behind this nightmare has been erased or hidden. And honestly, that makes it very suspicious, because without a face, he becomes anyone. The man in the bus next to you, the neighbor who never says much. And that's the dangers of monsters like these. They don't always look like monsters. Anyway, if this story chilled you even as half as it chilled me, hit that like button, subscribe, and click on the notification button, because this is just the beginning. Welcome to African Crime Stories.